Hi, my name is Boris, and welcome to my brainstorming channel. Now, this may be the beginning of a new world order. Alright. Before you start thinking of Illuminati and all those conspiracy theory, when I say new world order, I mean it in the Ray Dalio way, which means the beginning of a new world currency that everyone accepts and trusts in its value. Now, there has been a lot of debate on currency because the market is very volatile and central banks around the world is printing money like crazy. Yes, I can't get enough of this meme either. So, since this is a brainstorming channel and I enjoy solving problems, so I'm like, hey, why not give it a shot and try to figure this out? So today, we're going to discuss the advantages and disadvantages of the main types of currency, and I'm going to propose a solution to all this currency madness. But first, I would strongly recommend you, the viewer, to understand the history of money before watching this. Alright, let's dig in. We're going to talk about these three mostly accepted type of currency, which is precious metal, fiat, and crypto. Let's start with fiat currency. The problem with fiat currency is inflation. Because of inflation, it loses around 2% of its value every year. So therefore, it's advantageous for those who already has a lot of debt, since they can simply use inflation to devalue that debt. If it's not backed by anything, any government can print an unlimited amount of it, which can significantly devalue it. Now, the main advantage of fiat currency is credit. Therefore, it gives people a lot of flexibility. Alright, let's move on to gold. Here's the thing with trading with gold, and we have tried it before, by the way. The disadvantage is it's hard to carry a lot of gold and trade it for small good. So basically, gold offers very little flexibility, but does offer a great way to store value because there's a limited amount of it, and cultures around the world has always had respect for it. Therefore, it always holds its value. Let's move on to crypto. Now, I know many people may dislike this video because I have to be honest here. Crypto is not perfect. It has disadvantages. So bear with me. The main advantage is it offers an easy and safe way to trade without a third party, and there's a limited amount of it that help keep its value. Those are all good qualities, but the disadvantage is social acceptance, like government making it into law. The reason the US dollar hold its value, it's because there's so much trust in it, even though it's no longer backed by gold. So therefore, the US dollar honestly has no value, but that trust in its value is what keeping the US dollar valuable. That's all it is. Another disadvantage is measurement of its value. And since it's not backed by anything, that also doesn't help keep its value stable. Anybody that think, if I own one Bitcoin, it might worth millions. To me, that's very unrealistic in my opinion. It can only happen if the world goes to like a Mad Max style of society collapse and lawlessness. In this scenario, there would be constant civil war because no one trusts the governments around the world, which isn't impossible, but it's just not likely, at least in my opinion. For now, crypto is a great way to make money if you know how to exploit people's psychology and day trade movement. So here's what I believe is the best solution to this currency crisis. What I propose is a 3-layer currency. I know it sounds like a little bit like a pyramid scheme, but bear with me. So let's call it Crypto Global. Also, I know I'm not the best at naming things, but this is just an example. So it's going to be a combination of all those currency we talked before. And we're going to take the best part out of each of them. We will set regulations and law in order to keep balance between them. So if one gets out of track, those rules will kick in and penalize it to get it back on track. Let's begin. In this system, fiat currency will still be used, but it's gonna be used for what it was originally intended for, which is credit. Let me make this clear. We're gonna use it for credit, not money, but for credit. Now, you may be asking yourself, why credit? Isn't debt why we're in this mess to begin with? Well, it's simply because there is good credit, but there's also bad credit. With good credit, an economy can grow well. For example, a person who wants to start a business. That small business makes more job and opportunity for everyone. This helps drive the economy as long as it is done right. Credit can be repaid very easily if we continue the progress of AI and use it the same way company like Square does, which increase the probability of payment significantly. Now, bad credit is when a person has debt simply because they want a new overpriced car or house with barely enough money to pay it back from their job. This does not drive an economy in a healthy way. View positive credit like eating healthy food. It's good for you for the long term and it helps you grow stronger. While bad credit is like eating junk food, which makes you feel good in the short term because it tastes great and it has a lot of energy, so your body craves it. But we know that in the long term, your body eventually pays the price. Now, what role can gold play in this system? Well, quite simple. The role of gold or any rare element can be the real source of value, because throughout time, gold has mostly been the storage of value rather than a currency. Now, is it possible for gold to grow through inflation? Well, yes, but it's the most stable because there's a limited amount of it. Now, let's say we find like an asteroid made out of gold. Well, then we could simply switch the element for something like rhodium, which, by the way, is the rarest metal in the universe, which is worth a lot more than gold. And it will probably always be worth a lot more than gold, unless we find a way to like 3D print element like it's nothing. But if we ever reach that point, I strongly doubt money will matter. So yeah. Let's move on to the next step and discuss the role of crypto. See, crypto is supposed to represent the amount of gold or whatever precious metal we may decide on that has been stored inside a couple vault that is spread throughout the world and that is agreed upon all government throughout the world. That precious metal can be recovered as long as that individual has that crypto global currency. Now, let's say, for example, 1 ounce of gold is equal to 1 crypto global. So basically, we are using crypto as a way to trade very easily and efficiently while still being backed by something of real value. Now, I honestly would prefer that thing to be rhodium, but since people mostly know about gold, so I guess sometimes it's best to stick with something people are used to. Now, if we were to move to this new currency, then all nations around the world would have to be given the same amount of crypto global based on their current value. That way, it's not a giant reset button where everyone will say it's unfair and feel like they have to restart from scratch. While there is a lot of room for improvement, but for now, I think this is a good first step. Okay, here's the truth. At first, I thought this idea was my original idea. But the truth is, a version of this idea has existed for a couple decades now. And funny enough, it can be found in one of my favorite pastime. Basically, any MMORPG out there has a version of this system, where you can use real life cash to buy cash shop currency, which can be converted into in-game currency which is the money you farm inside the game for free. So maybe in a subliminal type of way, it got integrated into my brain. I don't know. But I noticed that on Saturday after watching this episode of Economy Explained, which I will leave a link down the description below. He does a fantastic job explaining how an MMO like EVE Online have a lot of similarity to real life economy. So now it makes me think the best platform to test and monitor this idea would be in video games. It's funny, now I think that entertainment such as MMORPGs might be what will save us from this currency crisis. By the way, if you guys are interested and these topics fascinate you, I might make a video displaying how the mechanics of this new currency would work using more MMO style examples. Anyways, if you like this video and agree, hit that like button. And if you dislike this video or disagree with my idea, hit that dislike button. But please tell me why. I read and appreciate all feedbacks. Now, I don't like asking people to subscribe because if my content is good enough and offer enough value, I believe it will win people's subscription. Well, anyways, thank you for watching and I hope to see you next time.